Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are strapping in to look at one of the boldest, most ambitious national blueprints we've seen, Digital Ethiopia 2030.
Or DE 2030.
Right, DE 2030. And this isn't just some standard policy document about, updating government websites.
No, not at all.
This is a comprehensive, decade-long national declaration of intent. It's a commitment to charting their own digital path.
And that's a key distinction. This is about building digital infrastructure, not just for efficiency, but as a pillar of national identity and economic stability.
So it builds on previous work.
It does. It builds directly on the foundations of Digital Ethiopia 2025, but it advances with significantly greater ambition. It's designed to embed digital transformation into the very fabric of their society.
And their mission, it's anchored in 4 central objectives, which really define the scope of this whole thing for you, our listener.
These are basically the 4 tent poles holding up the entire vision. First, they want to empower people and institutions.
Through skills, data-driven decisions, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Exactly. Second, to accelerate inclusive digital economic growth. So modernizing key sectors like agriculture.
Okay.
Third is to achieve universal digital access. That means equitable broadband, full participation across the country.
And that fourth one, it really speaks to their global outlook.
It does. It's to position Ethiopia as a destination of choice for digital foreign direct investment. So attracting global tech players.
Okay, let's unpack this because, Ethiopia's potential is just staggering. But so are the stakes.
Absolutely.
You're talking about a population of over 130 million people, and a massive 70% of them are under the age of 30.
An incredible demographic engine.
Right. So the question is how boldly and how wisely they can seize this moment and turn that promise into a digital reality by 2030.
The boldness is clear in the plan's philosophy. I mean, in a world where it's easy to just import a generic digital strategy, this one really emphasizes identity. It's anchored in the Ethiopian concept of metamer.
Metamer. That translates roughly to synergy or collective effort into national progress.
Yeah, exactly. And that concept, metamer, grounds the entire plan in a set of principles that ensure they aren't just, importing foreign models wholesale.
And what are those principles?
Well, first is digital first, meaning every single policy has to be assessed for its online potential. Second, inclusive by design.
Which means?
It means intentional design for rural access, for gender parity, and making services available in local languages from day one.
I see that identity theme running through. Then there's homegrown solutions.
Nurturing local talent. And maybe the most critical one, geopolitically, is sovereign.
Safeguarding their own data, their own infrastructure.
Exactly. That commitment to sovereignty is a powerful thread we'll keep following. They know the clock is ticking, though. Reforms have begun, like telecom liberalization, but they still have significant barriers.
So what are the immediate constraints? Why the urgency right now?
The strategy is very transparent about the why now facts. While electricity access has reached 63% nationally, digital access still lags quite a bit.
What are the numbers?
Internet penetration is currently sitting at just 45% of the population. And critically, the digital economy contributes just 3.9% of their GDP.
Wow, only 3.9%.
It should be fueling growth. And on top of that, they face these crippling structural constraints like very high logistics costs and slow transformation in other sectors.
So that urgency translates into these massive infrastructure goals. Let's get into that foundational level. How do you get from 45% internet penetration to 90%?
The foundation relies on 3 non-negotiables: reliable electricity, digital infrastructure, and cybersecurity. Electricity is first, and the data is stark. While the national average is 63%, rural access is only 45%.
A huge equity gap.
It has to be closed first.
And this is where the strategy introduces that really fascinating and surprising detail about crypto mining.
It does. It shows how strategic they're being about monetizing their natural assets. They see crypto mining as a massive energy user, but they plan to establish a highly regulated framework.
To do what, exactly?
To harness Ethiopia's excess low-cost renewable power. Their hydro and geothermal capacity is substantial.
Wait, crypto mining, isn't that usually the opposite of green infrastructure? We've heard all these stories about massive energy waste. I have to push back on that. How does this fit?
That is the sort of unexpected brilliance of the detail here. They aren't running unregulated operations. They're setting up governance to monetize a resource they have in abundance: cheap, green energy.
Okay, so what's the mechanism?
The key is that a portion of those high-energy revenues are legally mandated to be reinvested directly into expanding rural electrification. It completely flips the script.
So they turn a global energy sink into a localized revenue stream funding critical infrastructure.
Exactly. For the 45% of the rural population who need it most.
That integration is smart. It's clear they're securing the physical layer, but that commitment to sovereignty isn't just about electricity, right?
No, it extends right into where they store their most critical national assets. It's driving the next two major infrastructure buildouts. First, the sovereign cloud. They're building a green, energy-efficient government cloud to host critical public systems, health data, tax records, national ID data. It's explicitly designed to ensure Ethiopian data stays in Ethiopia.
And second, they're moving aggressively into frontier tech.
Correct. They're building a national AI compute infrastructure. This means setting up GPU clusters, scalable training environments. They want to position Ethiopia as a regional AI powerhouse.
And the target is bold.
Incredibly bold, achieving 1 million GPU hours of training access by 2030.
1 million GPU hours. And to put that into perspective for you, what's their current baseline?
It's around 10,000, so that is a 100-fold increase in compute capacity in less than a decade.
That's a moonshot.
It is, but it signals their intent, and that AI capacity is essential because it feeds directly into what they call the Digital Public Infrastructure, or DPI.
The DPI, so that's the digital nervous system of the future economy.
That's a great way to put it.
What does that stack look like? What are the basic tools everyone will use?
It's all about unified systems. The anchor, the identity layer, is the FADA ID. That's their national digital ID program.
And that's already rolling out.
It is. They've already enrolled 25 million people, and it's integrated with over 55 services. It's the trusted, secure foundation.
Okay, and the second component has to be money, how people and businesses transact.
That's the payments layer. They're developing a unified national digital payment platform. You can think of it like a UPI-style model.
Like the India stack.
The reference model is absolutely the India stack. This layer will link everyone, banks, mobile money operators like Telebur, fintechs, and force them all to speak the same digital language.
So that India stack comparison is really important here. For listeners who might not know that model, what does it signify?
It signifies power through integration. The India stack showed the world the economic power of integrating identity, payments, and secure data exchange into one powerful system. It allows rapid, cheap scaling of digital services across all 130 million citizens.
So these foundational pieces are the heavy lift, the power, the cloud, the ID. But once those are enabled, the real transformation starts across the economy.
Exactly.
So let's look at where technology meets the ground in the three key sectors: agriculture, trade, and the creative economy, starting with agriculture.
In agriculture, which employs over 65% of the population, the plan is to leapfrog old methods with Industry 5.0 technologies. We're talking IoT sensors, AI for yield forecasting, but the most targeted play involves their premium export markets.
And this is where we get back to the coffee bean.
Precisely. They are adopting blockchain-based traceability systems across the entire coffee value chain.
Why blockchain?
Because global consumers pay a premium for certified origin and sustainability. This system strengthens certification, prevents fraud, and positions Ethiopian coffee as the premium certified product globally.
That makes sense.
And that tech is tied directly to inclusion, too, through expanding mobile advisory platforms and using the FADA ID for secure subsidy distribution.
Right. Applying high-tech solutions to secure exports and deliver basic aid. Next, trade and logistics, a known constraint for them. Their logistics performance index is 2.94 out of 5, which is not great.
That LPI score is the problem they have to solve. So the strategy targets those high costs directly. They'll deploy AI and machine learning for routing optimization and IoT sensors for real-time cargo tracking.
So less paperwork and more real-time visibility.
Exactly. And once again, they're using blockchain for supply chain traceability at key points like borders and ports. This reduces trade disputes and enhances export readiness.
Now, the third sector is arguably the most surprising growth engine, the creative and cultural industries.
This is a massive opportunity that directly addresses their 70% youth demographic. The sources highlight that the creative and cultural industries, or CCIs, already employed over 600,000 people back in 2018.
With huge potential for more.
Right, potential for another 260,000 new jobs by 2025. And Ethiopia has Africa's fastest growing gaming market. It's projected to hit $280 million by 2025.
That potential is huge. So how do they plan to turn that local creativity into a global export?
The strategy explicitly models its approach on South Korea's Hallyu Wave success.
The K-pop wave.
The whole cultural export machine. For Ethiopia, this means targeted investment in gaming studios with localized content. It means digital platforms for music and art distribution, and a national rights and royalties platform so creators actually get paid.
Industrializing cultural export.
That's the goal.
Okay, discussing all these ambitious initiatives, from sovereign cloud to a Hallyu wave, it leads us to the critical question of execution. We know earlier efforts were challenged there.
Not in the planning, but in the execution. Absolutely.
Okay.
So how do they ensure accountability this time?
This is where the rubber meets the road, isn't it? A big vision is useless without a rigorous structure to deliver it.
The governance is centralized around the Digital Transformation Council, the DTC. But what's different is the sharp focus on institutional behavior. They're implementing a formal integrated change management program.
What does that mean in practical terms? It sounds a little bureaucratic.
It's intended to stop the plan from just being a document gathering dust. It structurally links digital delivery directly to institutional recognition. It embeds digital performance indicators into public sector budgets. In short, success in digital transformation is tied directly to how institutions are resourced and how public servants are evaluated and paid.
It forces the shift. That level of institutional focus is critical. So what does this all mean for the actual measurable targets? What are the concrete results we should see by 2030?
They have very specific KPIs. The big macroeconomic target. The digital economy's share of GDP is slated to move from a 3.9% baseline to 12%.
A more than threefold increase.
And job creation is paramount. They are targeting the creation of 1 million new digital jobs by 2030.
1 million new digital jobs. That is an astronomical target. Where is the plan strongest or weakest in achieving that kind of scale?
The strength lies in the foundations we discussed. The DPI stack, FATA ID, and that focus on youth-driven sectors like the creative economy. If those layers work, the private sector can scale.
And the challenge?
The challenge, of course, lies in the need for rapid, synchronized institutional change, which is notoriously difficult to maintain over a decade.
And finally, those foundational metrics we started with.
Yes. Internet penetration, the foundational one, is set to nearly double, moving from 45% to a 90% target. And most importantly, human capacity. The digital literacy rate is targeted to jump from around 20 to 25% now up to 70% by 2030.
These are just massive targets.
They reflect the generational opportunity they're trying to seize. The high cost of inaction, of widening inequality and missing that demographic dividend is why this is framed as a critical inflection point.
This deep dive really shows Ethiopia's comprehensive approach. You can see how it connects foundational issues like using crypto mining to fund rural electrification, all the way up to frontier tech like AI and blockchain.
And it's rooted in local values, driven by metamer and sovereignty, while also aligning with global best practices.
Right.
If successfully executed, DE 2030 is designed to be a benchmark for Africa's digital future, creating millions of jobs and ensuring full digital inclusion. It proves national identity and technological progress don't have to be mutually exclusive.
That commitment to local values is key. The blueprint strongly commits to being homegrown and using local languages. So the final fascinating challenge for Ethiopia will be ensuring that the rapid adoption of powerful global tech like generative AI, which is largely trained elsewhere, truly remains rooted in and reflective of its unique local identity in diverse languages, just as the blueprint promises. That tension between global speed and local fidelity is something for you to mull over as you process the depth of this truly national strategy.